This is Optimal Work Daily, episode 1339. What is a sabbatical and how to prepare for your time away from work? Part 2 by Anne-Lyse Wealth with marriagekidsandmoney.com. And I'm Dan. I am your host of the show, back with you once again to share part 2 of this post that I started yesterday. So if you haven't listened to episode 1338 from Thursday, I would recommend you doing that first so you're all caught up. But if you're ready to go, let's hear part 2 as we optimize your life. What is a sabbatical and how to prepare for your time away from work? Part 2 by Anne-Lyse Wealth with marriagekidsandmoney.com. Other living expenses. To prepare financially for a sabbatical, you need to have a clear vision for your sabbatical. You should have a good handle on the cost of living in the area you will be staying. To achieve that, assessing the cost of food, transportation, utilities, other necessities, travel, entertainment, and any activity you want to include during your sabbatical is necessary. Budgeting. Once you have an idea of the cost of living, you can create a budget for your sabbatical to evaluate the total cost. That information can help you decide if you want to opt for a couple of months or if you can afford to take a year-long sabbatical. You can use a budget app to create a budget, manage your money, and stay on track during your sabbatical. Setting money aside. Now that you have enough information to estimate how much your sabbatical will cost, you can start saving for the sabbatical expenses. This helps to ensure you have an adequate emergency fund to cover unexpected costs. Taking a close look at your monthly expenses can help you identify areas to cut. This could be housing, subscriptions, dining out, or entertainment. Earning extra income at work or through a side hustle can help you reach your savings goal faster too. To avoid accessing those funds for unnecessary reasons, consider 2 separate accounts for sabbatical savings and for your emergency fund. Saving for a 6 to 12-month emergency fund will give you peace of mind. If you decide you can't return to work, you have options. Life insurance. If you have dependents or assets, you want to ensure that your life insurance will not lapse during your sabbatical. The best time to shop for life insurance is when you already have coverage. If you have life insurance through your employer, now's a great time to research options outside your company. If your sabbatical is unpaid, you will lose your life insurance coverage once your sabbatical begins. That is, unless you elect to pay higher premiums through COBRA. Being proactive now to ensure coverage outside of your place of employment will help you secure more reasonable premiums. What can I do on my sabbatical? A sabbatical gives you the time to learn new skills, travel around the world, volunteer, spend time with loved ones, explore new interests, whether personal or professional, and do anything that interests you. It's the opportunity to reset the clock and do what you choose to focus on. You define what you want your sabbatical to look like and what you want to gain from it. Whether it's a break from your current life or the ability to start on a new path, it's up to you. Outside of my own sabbatical story, here are a couple more. Okioma Moronu Schreiner. Okioma felt strongly that she wanted her kids to enjoy some of the experiences that she had had growing up. Experiences like traveling the world, attending an international school, and being exposed to different cultures. Through conversations with her employer, Okioma was able to start a sabbatical. While on her sabbatical, she happened across an opportunity to join a company that does more humanitarian work. This called to her heart and her desire to broaden her children's horizons. Now, her family lives in Costa Rica with a lower cost of living, and she's able to support a cause she believes in. Michelle and Jacob Wade. Jacob and his family were going through medical difficulties and were also doing some house shopping at the same time. It was too much, and one day Jacob got overwhelmed and had a breakdown. He realized he was overwhelmed with life and needed change. When Michelle and Jacob realized that there was a chance they could change their lifestyles, there was no turning back. Before, they used to fantasize about going on an RV trip, but now they were going to make it happen. Jacob did the numbers and had to make a decision to rent or sell the house. After some thinking, they decided to sell the house and everything they owned so they could take a long trip in an RV. It turned into a year-long adventure, and they eventually settled in a lower cost of living area that gave them more time to do work they love and be with family. Final thoughts. Proper planning is necessary if you are interested in taking a sabbatical, whether for personal or professional reasons. It's essential to reflect on what you want to gain from this experience, your vision of a successful sabbatical, and how you can use the experience to enhance your resume. Having a clear idea of what you want to accomplish during your extended leave from work is an essential first step. Doing the proper research before talking to your employer about your plans can help you get your sabbatical approved. Assessing expenses and setting enough money aside so you're financially prepared will help you make the most of the experience. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled, "What is a Sabbatical and How to Prepare for Your Time Away from Work?" by Anne-Lyse Wealth with marriagekidsandmoney.com. We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search. Match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it filters out those incompatible applicants. So when you're hiring, the process is much faster, and you only have to consider applicants that are already likely to be a great fit. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/startup. So just go to Indeed.com/startup right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. And thanks again to Anne for this great post, which we've now heard in its entirety. And I told you a little bit about Anne in yesterday's outro, so today I want to tell you about Andy Hill, who actually runs the site that this is from, marriagekidsandmoney.com. Andy Hill is a husband and father to 2 awesome and crazy kids, and they hail from the great state of Michigan. His goal is to give his family the best life possible and strengthen their family tree for generations to come. In 2016, he got so geeked about this topic of young family finance that he decided to start a blog and podcast about it. It began as a hobby and then morphed into a fun side hustle when people started to enjoy the information he was sharing. Fast forward to today, he's left his corporate event marketing career behind and is now a full-time blogger and podcaster who's been featured in major media outlets like CNBC, Kiplinger's Personal Finance, and NBC News. So come by marriagekidsandmoney.com to learn a lot more, and if you enjoy their content, you can hear more from them on Optimal Finance Daily. And with that, we've reached the end of another installment of Optimal Work Daily. I do hope you enjoyed this post and that you'll be back again with me tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.